Buongiorno, ciao Juventini of the world. I hope you are all doing well. I'm in Brussels at the airport, ready to take my plane to Madrid because tomorrow it's a huge big game. Real Madrid Juve in Champions League. I know that at the moment not a lot of people they want to speak about football. They don't want to speak about Juventus. They are trying to push away that big game because, of course, when you are playing Real Madrid. In big times, you cannot go with some predictions. So, in a moment of doubts, in a moment of difficulties, especially with Real Madrid that is doing quite well at the moment, where it's even worse to think about the game of Madrid. But I tell you, I'm extremely happy to go because, first of all, Bernabeu is Bernabeu. Watching the team of Real Madrid with all their stars is fantastic. And then Real Madrid Juve is a huge big game for me as a Juventino. Look, I never watched I never watched Real Madrid Juve in a competitive game, so it's a huge big opportunity to be able to explain you, to share you what it was to enter that stadium, to hear the Champions League music, to watch our boys, and maybe doing a miracle. You never know. So I'm extremely happy to go there. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Ragazzi, what happened yesterday in La Continassa? Well, first of all, there were three huge, big moments of meetings, can we say like that? Yesterday, Comolli spoke. I know that there was a lot of controversy. Why didn't he speak to the microphones? And you know that I am someone that is always pushing to have the management speaking after moments of disaster. It's early in the season, 20th of October. Today we are 21st of October. It's early in the season, so it's still acceptable if it's not speaking in public, but he needs to speak to the team. And that's what he did yesterday morning, speaking with the players. Comolli, Damien Comolli, with a tone of voice from what I heard that was quite honest, quite transparent in telling them it's absolutely not okay. We need to wake up. After Comolli, it was Tudor that spoke with his team. Tudor is always a bit protective, caring for his team, trying to maybe overprotect them a bit of time. Well, this time, no. He was totally transparent, honest, asking them to raise the bar also of leadership, of responsibility for the next upcoming games. And then there was a third meeting, the coach and the management, of course, behind closed doors, between four walls, without the players around, without journalists around, where the trust has been confirmed to Igor Tudor, not leaving him alone, which is extremely important. And apparently, according to Tuttosport, what we read today, 20 days. 20 days is a deadline. 20 days is the last game before the third international break. We have until the derby to change the results. Because at the end, this is what matters. This is what counts to change the results. We have a few games before that. We have Real Madrid tomorrow. Then we have Lazio away, Udinese midweek in our home, Cremonese away, and then we have Sporting in Champions League in our home, ending with Juventus Torino, the Derby della Mole again in our home. So we have one, two, three, four, five, 6 games. 6 games for Tudor to change the results. If performances can even go with that, that's even better. But that's the deadline that has been given, and I think it's totally correct. Changing now for the sake of changing, going with rush, fast, could be worse. Because at the moment, no clear ideas are there. You go from profiles to Spalletti, Mancini. You go to Palladino. We hear about Xavi, the return of Thiago Motta. So we hear that the ideas are not clear. So changing for the sake of changing now, to me, it makes no sense. Waiting a bit, these games are, I believe, a good momentum to then take big momentum, big decision during that international break. Also to give maybe, and I hope not, and I repeat, I hope not, the new coach also time during that international break to understand a bit what he's doing there in La Continassa. That being said, yesterday Darren Burgess, the physical coach, physical trainer, the one that will actually oversee all the different Juve teams, was there in La Continassa. So for the people that were asking where is Darren Burgess, he was there. And then we had yesterday a training. Today there will be another training where a big huge decision will be taken for tomorrow. At the moment we don't know. We know that Tudor doesn't like too much to speak about the different solutions, tactics the man that is choosing, but we are here to speak about what will he do about the defense. Will he go back to three? Will he continue to something that at the moment he didn't have a lot of time to test, and at the moment looks like he's not really believing in going and continuing with four like we played against Como? Gatti should start, that's what we hear from La Continassa, but also a big decision to take depending how we will play at 3-5-2, what was it, 4-3-3 with 3-man midfield or 2-man midfield, depending, but Koopmeiners or Weston McKennie to start. That's another big, huge decision to take. At the moment, Koopmeiners could possibly be a bit more in advantage towards the Englishman, the American one. Why? Because the performance against Como, even if it was a total disaster, well, his one was much better than the previous one. The last time that we said it, guys, I'm not lying to myself anymore. The last time that we said it, he had a good performance. It was against Atalanta. The game after, he didn't do really well. Now I'm checking for my bags. You never know that someone is taking it. I'm not alone, so I was checking for my bag. And then up front, apparently, Openda should have a slight advantage to start the game of tomorrow. Then understanding behind a striker, as a striker, you'd be questioned. I think it would be smart, also because it's a player that loves spaces. And if you play against Real Madrid in their home, if you play in Champions League, well, you have more spaces. So that would be a beautiful one then to understand with another striker, alone as a striker, bit huge question. But I would be happy to see the Belgian one and maybe. Let's see. Yesterday, Zegrova and Miretti were training with a group. Not sure that they will be called up, but they were there. And then I continue with Yildiz that spoke to the microphones of UEFA. I will not go too much in detail, but the important thing that he said at a certain moment was the number 10. I was hesitant to take it in the beginning because it's a huge, big responsibility. But then I said to myself, it's not the number that goes on the field, it's myself. And then I said, you know what, let's take it. Probably he said, F it. But no, it's a great mentality for a young kid. Rugani extended to 2028. I believe that as a person, he totally deserves it, even if the performance against Como was not good. Of course, we can discuss about the timing. The timing is, but anyway, when is the time right? That's a huge, big question because, of course, after losing against Como, it's the last thing that you expect. That being said, are there other things to say? Yeah, I want to finish with one thing. A lot of people are saying in the journals like Zambrotta, a lot of people that I was reading this morning, but also fans. If you win against Real Madrid, it could be possibly the turnaround of the season. I want to be much more cautious on that. Because I remember last season, Milan played in the Bernabeu in Champions League. It was the 5th of November, so we can say 1 year ago, and they won 3-1. At the end of the season, it's not that they won the Champions League, but also they didn't qualify to the next European competition. So calma. And also, if we are looking at ourselves instead of looking at the other ones, well, Leipzig, we said that's the third round of our season. No. 2 times Inter, the 4-4, the 4-3. No. We played against City. We won 2-0. That can be the turnaround of our season. No. What is important is the continuity. If you're looking at Inter, not that I want to speak well about them, but guys, after the loss against Juve 4-3, what did they do? 6 games, 6 wins. 6 wins in a row, guys. If the United fan was a fan of Inter, probably he would have already shaved his head now. Huh? But Juve, what did they do after that 4-3 win? 6 games, 0 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. So, sometimes it's hard for me to say, but I don't want to be like Inter was in the past, in the years 2000, etc., etc. Had one game, winning against Juve. Then the rest we will see. A lot of teams are reacting like that, are still thinking like that. So to me, that makes no sense. Giving continuity. One big game, you can win it, you can lose it, you can draw it, but the important is what you do after that, how you stand up. And now it's the moment to do it. Ragazzi, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please put a maximum of like, continue subscribing. We see each other in Madrid. I will try to have a video with a legend. Let's see. Grazie, forza. Juve.